Hi world, it's about 5:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday, the 15th of October 2019. Today is the only time this week in southern England, in the London area, where it's not raining. So, something I very rarely do. I took a day off today and I went and I met up with a few good friends in central London. We went to the Tate Britain Museum to see the exhibition of artworks by an artist from the late 1700s, early 1800s called William Blake. To those of you that are not familiar with the name, William Blake was a kind of British Renaissance artist who captured the idea of Albion as opposed to Britain in his works. He tried to find in his artwork the ideas of a more ethereal, aesthetic and elevated consciousness of Britain, terminizing it Albion as opposed to Britain. He was very heavily influenced by the religious influence of his time, and a lot of his works are Old Testament biblical. But some of his artworks are very, very famous. For example, Albion in Spring, or the Ancient of Days, or Nebuchadnezzar. Anyone who's familiar with a lot of old rock album artwork will know his works. Just Google artworks by William Blake and all of you will come up with a few pictures that you will have seen in many places. And it was very inspiring, and I did find myself crying at one point with not pleasure, but the art just evoked something in me, so passionate, so deep, that I found myself with tears going down my eyes. It was the very first picture. The very first picture was that of Albion. The very last picture was the Ancient of Days. And if you happen to be in London in the next couple of months, I do recommend you go to the Tate Britain on Millbank, on the north bank of the Thames, to have a look at the William Blake exhibition. Now, one of the people I was meeting up with was a very old friend of mine, same age as me, mid-60s, whom I have been friends with, close friends with, somewhere between 40 to 45 years, and have never really fell out with, which is pretty unusual. I'm not the easiest person in the world to get on with. And we were just chatting away, and we were talking about how the full moon of a couple of days ago is having its effects, both collectively and globally, but also individually. Certainly I'm hearing, both through my friends and my clients, how in this last few days, week or so, a lot of people are going through sort of major periods of crises and trauma. A lot of people are bringing a sense of finality into their lives. They're engaging with situations in a way that's ruthless, not mercenary, because mercenary is cruel and callous, but ruthless in a way that is yes or no. No more compromise, no middle ground. Lines are being drawn in the sand for people. Ultimatums are being made. And this is something that's only going to get stronger in the coming few days. Now, when I went to the Tate Britain today, first thing I noticed was the huge number of London Constabulary, the British police, who were in the street outside. Now, there had been a protest earlier on in the morning by Extinction Rebellion. As we came out of the art gallery, Extinction Rebellion were at it again. The Red People were there, and if you're not familiar with the Red People, then you should be. These are people who, with very white faces, dressed all in red, who pose very evocatively in ways that really, it's incredible to see. And they symbolise the dying planet. Now, whenever I've gone on about the environment, there's a people out there who are far more sophisticated and erudite and well informed than me, who know far more about climate change than I do. And I'm not suggesting I'm an expert on this. I'm not. I am, however, a committed environmentalist. I've been active in the green movement for 35 years. I've been actively involved in putting on festivals and outdoor events for 2025 of those years. I'm a founding member of many of the environmental green festivals that are still going on to this day, and I still consider myself a deep green. I do a lot towards publicising their aspirations, and I help in any way I can, even though I'm getting older and I can't quite run around on fields anymore. What's different about Extinction Rebellion is, for the first time in the history of protests, these people are coming from all cross-section. This is not your normal rabble who get into arguments and then start throwing stones and petrol bombs and getting rioting. This is not like that. This is grandmothers and grandchildren. This is film stars. This is politicians, business people, people like you and me on the streets, parents, grandparents. And the one thing they all have in common is that they all make a commitment to protest peacefully without any type of violence whatsoever. There have been 1,400 arrests in the last week in London, 1,500. Not one of those arrests has been violent. As soon as someone's arrested, they don't put up a fight at all. Non-violent direct action. To many people who watch this site of mine, you're exasperated with me and my ways of promoting environmental awareness because you don't believe in it. To which I would say, well, that's your right, but why are you still watching? Why not go somewhere like Fox News or The Sun, where you can be fed what you want to believe, and then you don't have to face uncommon truths? Having seen Extinction Rebellion in action today, in direct action, having just avoided getting caught up and kettled, where the police surround you and start arresting people one by one. Today, by accident, having seen the red people and their silent protests, I found myself, having been in an exhibition where I really got caught up in the passion, the authenticity, the dignity, the passion, the aestheticism, the refinement, even the spirituality of Albion. Everything that Britain could be, that it aspires to be, the higher dimension, the purer side of Britain. What the romantics would love to call the more, this is the Byron, the Shelley, the Keats, the Blake, the William Blake, the aesthetic, the beauty. It's almost Arthurian. And then having come out of that and been confronted with these people from every cross-section of society who are putting their lives on hold to try and raise public awareness about the fact that this planet is going down the plug hole, and it is going down fast, and it is not going to go down in 100 years. It's going to go down in 15. Now, I'm still looking at jumping on planes later this year and going around the world. But there needs to be a big levy on plane flights. There needs to be subsidies on trains. We need to get rid of polluting cars. Carbon dioxide levels are escalating completely out of proportion. We are poisoning the world. Now, I hear many of you go, he's off on one again, he's rambling. What's this got to do with astrology? The astrology of these times is critical. That full moon square Pluto of a couple of days ago, that new moon exactly opposite Uranus in a week and a half, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction coming up, and then the Jupiter-Saturn and Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions coming up. These are going to radically, dramatically and permanently alter the nature of government in countries all around the world. This is the beginning of the end for the old systems of organisation. And the new systems that will come in will either accelerate the ruination of the earth or they will address it. And if they don't address it, then our grandchildren aren't going to have very good lives. So I hear many of you going, But what can we do? We're only individuals. Well, you can go and talk to your elected representatives. You can actually go on the protests yourself. You can talk to the supermarkets and say, cut out the plastic packaging. You can get an electric car. You can walk more or ride a bike. You can become aware of your own carbon footprint. You can become aware of your own waste. And the thing is, just by doing these things, willingly and voluntarily, it actually breeds a cleaner, healthier and better conscience in yourself. You feel better about doing what you're doing. You become a better human being. And it's the same as smiling. The more you smile at people, the more people smile back at you and the world becomes a better place. The more you clean your individual act up, the more other people take notice and start cleaning their acts up. At least that's a theory. And we've got nothing to lose by trying to clean our act up. We've got a lot to gain. Alternatively, we can carry on the way we have, which is going to create such a dystopia, such a toxic, polluted planet within the space of my lifetime, and I'm in my early mid-60s. And the thing is, the astrology here suggests that where we are right now, in this last 2 or 3 months of 2019 and the first 3 or 4 months of 2020, is the single most concentrated bubble of time that we've got to make a difference. So get out there, spread the word, talk to people, do something that makes you feel better about yourself and makes you feel that you are trying to do something to make the world a better place. Why not? What you got to lose? Okay, rant over. I'll try and come back to small basic astrology next time. Catch you later, world. Bye.